Welcome to Mastering the Numbers, your go-to podcast for a deep dive into the world of business and entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Joe Mallo. Join me as I sit down with successful business owners to uncover their journeys, learnings, successes, and future plans. From market trends to personal stories of triumph, Mastering the Numbers delivers invaluable insights to fuel your own entrepreneurial spirit. So grab a seat and get ready to be inspired.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to Mastering the Numbers. I am Joe Mallo with the Lead Edge Consulting Group. We're powered by Focal Point Business and Executive Coaching. My guest today is Greg Fockler. He is the founder and also a financial advisor with Fockler Financial. Greg, I appreciate you being on the call today.
Absolutely. Hey, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Greg, can you tell the audience a little bit about Fockler Financial?
Yeah, so independent financial advising firm in Toledo, Ohio. I have an office also in a little suburb called Fremont, Ohio, about 40 minutes from here. We're just south of Detroit. We are Fockler Financial in its fifth year of business. I've been in the business for 11 years now, right out of college. We do mostly fee-based wealth management, a little bit insurance here and there, financial planning, college planning, all that, fun stuff, if you will. Wide range of clients. I'm sure we'll get into that, but that's the very quick basics.
Great. I guess what inspired you to get into the financial services industry and to start your own business?
Yeah, so in college, I started interviewing with different selling companies, right? I was going to sell forklifts for a while. I had an internship doing that. And I came to find out the reason they offered me a full-time job in college. And I came to find out that the reason they had a full-time job opening was because they had a sales guy in the territory that was doing too well. So they cut his territory in half and we're going to make a new position. So that just scared me, like these guys getting punished for killing it, right? So I wanted to find a career that I could work for myself and help people at the same time. And I mean, to be very blunt, make as much or as little as I want to, So started just asking around and started talking to some folks that I had known growing up and everything. And yeah, here we are today.
Well, 11 years later. Well, I've been a part of that entire philosophy where the better you do, the more they cut your territory. So I've seen that happen in the corporate world myself multiple times. So can you share with the audience maybe some of your challenges and some of the struggles that you went through at the very beginning as you were getting your business up and running?
Yeah, it's probably pretty obvious. I was 21, right out of college. I mean, I graduated on a Saturday, and on Monday I was, studying for my Series 7. So, once you get licensed and all that stuff, trying to find people to give you money is hard when you've been in the business for 6 months.
Right.
So, and the people that do give you money are probably your cousins and buddies that are doing $100 a month, and you're making a whopping $1 commission GDC. After then you got your cuts and your E&O and all that. So, the hardest part is just going up that ladder, right? Going up the scale here and trying to get bigger clients and convincing them that a 22-year-old should handle their $1 million IRA, right? And that's by far the hardest.
Yeah. So being the fact that you were 21 and just getting out of college, did you have a support team and a group around you that helped in situations like that? Clients felt that you were a little too young?
Yeah, exactly. So I started under another independent advisor. I was his industry terms paraplanner, if you will. I worked 20, 25-ish hours a week for him, and I got a small salary just so I could, eat. And then the other hours of the week, however little or many I wanted to, were on me to, call people, meet with people, grow a business, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that definitely helped because, he would come in on meetings. He would pop his head in on a meeting and say, hey, if Greg doesn't know anything or Greg doesn't know something and you need to, I'm here, right? It was just kind of comforting to people that, hey, even though I might not know the answer, this 30-year veteran does, right? And he's in my corner,
Yeah.
and he'd pop his head in and say that. So that definitely helped a lot, for sure.
Right. So even though you've been in for 11 years, do you still have a similar support system built around you that, in case you need help with other clients?
Yeah, I mean, so I have an admin now. We've throughout the years, hired and fired, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I still have an admin with me right now, looking for an intern for the summer. But being part of the broker dealer, you kind of have all the resources you want, as much or as little as you want them. I mean, I don't know how to open up a new account for some obscure new account. Well, I just call the 800 number and tell them what I want to do, and they help me. So that can it be frustrating waiting on hold for a couple minutes? Yeah, sure. But with my broker dealer, we don't have a lot of that, and it's a really good. I mean, hey, you're paying them anyway out of your GDC, so hey,
Yeah.
use them, right? Pick up the phone and call them, or just type in a little ticket support number, and they'll get back to you if it's not super pressing. So I use that a lot for stuff, because I can go higher and spend more money, or I can just say, hey, I'm not really sure what the answer is to that. I'm going to go use the broker dealer.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important for everybody starting a business, whether it's in financial services or not, to have that type of a support team built behind you. So
yeah, you need a support team. You need something somewhere. Whatever that means for your individual business, I don't know, but that's how I've done it for my. I mean, I've also too. I'm kind of famous for it. I still meet with older advisors just to pick their brains on whatever it is. Just ask them, like, how you doing? What do you do? Not even anything specific. Just grab lunch with an older guy and see what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, just that wealth of knowledge that they have, all that experience from the ups and downs in the markets, I'm sure is incredibly helpful at times.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you pick up a
So,
little tip or trick here and there, and it's great.
yeah, absolutely. So what are some common misconceptions that you think people have about running a business or starting a business in financial services?
Someone actually made this comment the other day. A lot of people see us advisors on the golf course, driving up in our Escalade, leaving the office at 2 o'clock to go golfing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What they don't see is me on a Saturday, coming to the office and putting in 2, 3, 4, 5 hours of work because no one's calling me, and I can get a bunch of stuff done. They don't see me at 6 a.m., finishing a workout in the office by 7 working because no one's calling me until 8:30, 9 o'clock. That's what they don't see. And that is an extreme. I mean, no one sees me pick up the phone at 9 o'clock because a client lives in LA, I'm on Eastern time, and they just got off work and they need to talk to me. Well, I'm going to bed at 9.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. That's the pro and the con of being an owner in this industry is you answer the phone and people call you.
Yeah. Whenever they need you, you have to make yourself available. And I've always found golfing to be a great way to get to know your clients. Right, you're certainly spending a couple hours on a golf course. Great chance to get to know them a little bit better, and a great chance to find new clients as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I actually joined a different club this past summer, and just being there and being around different people that don't know me, it worked out pretty nicely for me, actually. And now they're friends. It's been great.
Perfect. So that being said, you're working late hours, working on Saturdays. This is a question that I always tell everybody on this interview series. It's near and dear to my heart. It's work-life balance. It's always been a challenge for me over the course of the last 28 years. How do you maintain a work-life balance if you're even able to?
Yeah, so I believe the work-life balance idea is you work so many hours a week so that you can go enjoy your life. And I don't believe in that. I don't think work-life balance is a thing. I think you will have your days, weeks, months where you are just head down working. You have a big project that's coming due. You have a big case. You have just busy time during tax season or whatever. You're just working more. So that obviously takes away from your life. But then come summers, again, I'm in Ohio, so we only have a very short window of nice weather to enjoy. And a lot of people don't want to don't come sit in my office at 6 o'clock at night on a Wednesday in July and talk about their money. Mm-mm. So therefore my life side grows then. So yeah, is it a work-life balance? But yes and no, it just shifts more in phases rather than just every week is the same.
Yeah.
Some weeks I'll put in 60, 70 hours of work, and then that'll flip. A few months later, I'll do 67 hours of life.
Right. Right. So it's not uniform. Sometimes you're gonna have work-life balance, sometimes you're not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, with those 60 to 70 hour work weeks that you were mentioning, how do you stay motivated? How do you stay focused to continue growing your business and to continue remaining successful?
I mean, for me, if I don't work out for a couple of days, I can tell. I mean, that's it. Just clears your head, and it's great. So that's been a real good thing for me. I do yoga and all that. But the other thing is, like, it's if you're working that much, that means you're busy and you're doing something. Activity solves all problems. And even if you are filling out a little Roth IRA for $6,000, I mean, it's still business, right? You're still making money. It's the point of your job. So you should, I mean, if I'm working that much, I know when I go home at night, like there's a reason for that. And that's because I'm busy. That's because people trust me. They like me, and I'm, doing what I'm supposed to be doing. If I was banging my head against the wall and working 10 hours a week, well, then I'm doing something wrong.
Right. Right. Well, so next question. I know the financial service industry is constantly evolving, as most industries are. How do you stay open and adaptable to all the changes that are in your industry?
Uh, Reading, listening. I mean, if you're in this industry, you know how quickly your inbox fills up with, webinars and ask the experts and this and that and the other thing. So as much as you think you'll grow out of those, you can't, because then you'll miss something. Going to conferences, talking. I mean, like I said, talking to other advisors. There's so many different things you can be doing all the time that you just got to do. So, getting the conferences, the webinars, the talking to other people, reading the Wall Street, reading the Advisor Hub, reading whatever. There's so much information out there. It's just pick a few that you like and you trust, and just kind of skim through them. I mean, Saturday mornings, I'll sit there and I'll read Michael Kitces. If you haven't heard of him, I highly recommend reading to him. Kitces. He has a weekend reading for financial planners. Some of them are great. Some of them are not relevant to me at all. But you can, even just skimming something like that usually just gets you thinking and gets you asking questions.
Yeah. You always have to continue learning. I know there's a lot of continuing education in the financial services industry, but even above and beyond that, I think continuing to learn and understanding what's going on out there is important when you're having to deal with clients' questions, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean that's the other thing. A client asks a question, you're like, huh, I've never been asked that. I've never actually even thought about that. Let me do some homework. I don't care if I'm 11 years in. I figured I'd be an expert on all things right now, but I still get questions, and I'm like, I don't know. I've had hundreds and
Yeah.
thousands of meetings over my 11 years, and I've never been asked that. But doesn't mean it's a bad question, just because I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you have to go figure it out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's
Um,
kind of the fun of it too.
yeah, that's right. That's better to figure out and tell your clients the right answer than to just make something up. That's
Yeah,
that's what I've always
100%.
felt. So,
Yeah,
um,
100%.
as far as technology, is technology a big part of your business? And if so, how do you remain open to the different technological innovations that are out there?
Yeah, it's becoming bigger, I would say. I mean, there's so much of it out there, it can be overwhelming. So, you almost, like I said about continuing education stuff, you got to kind of pick a couple and get really good at those. Uh, that's been my goal, right? So then you're not kind of scared of it, shy away from it. You have a couple that work good for you, and you take them and use them. But there's just so much, right? You can subscribe to every good software out there. There's tax planning, financial planning, income. I mean, there's a million out there, right? So you got to kind of find a few, I think, and just stick with them.
Right. For sure. So let me ask you this. So you've been doing this for 11 years. Is there anything that you do differently at this point in your career? Not different for work, not being a
Yeah,
financial advisor, but is there anything that you would have, done differently as you got started and grew your business?
I don't know. I mean, I'm, knock on wood, doing pretty darn good. I guess it's hard to say, oh man, I should have gone down this path first. I mean, I love the independent world. So I mean, if I maybe had to choose one, I mean, maybe if I had to choose something, I would maybe have started at a wirehouse, maybe just to get a couple of years of really fast track train. You know what I mean? Rather than
Yeah.
in the wire. I mean, the wirehouse is kind of train you to do, kind of one thing. It seems like, again, I've never been that, so I can't be completely accurate in that regard. But independent, I mean, I could just go sell health insurance all day if I wanted to, and never even touch securities, right? Or you can go whatever way you want, be independent. I think it'd be kind of interesting to see what the wire world would have been like had I started out there and kind of learned, their tips and tricks first, and then went
Yeah.
the independent route. But even that, I'm not even sure that's the one thing I would change. So
Yeah.
that's just kind of top of mind, I guess.
It's definitely a different world in the wirehouses. That's where I got my start. Certainly is a little bit different. Um, so so that being said, where do you see your business in the next 12 to 36 months?
Yeah, that's a good question. I kind of want to say, this is going to sound weird, but right sizing, uh, where I have a lot of what I kind of refer to as, I bought a book years ago, and that came with some just stuff out there, right? That I know it's hanging out there. I know I need to do something with it, but I'm so focused on doing this thing that I don't touch that part as much. There's just some accounts and some opportunities out there that I want to clean it up, if you will,
Yeah.
right? But then you go to clean it up, and next thing you know, your phone rings and it's like, hey, I didn't get my 1099 in the mail. Oh, okay. And then it's like, hey, I got to max out my Roth before you know how this stuff goes, right? And
Yeah.
or I got a couple $100,000 rollover to move. I mean, other than that stuff that you want to clean up, it's not cleaned up, and then it just kind of lingers there. So I would say I want to kind of clean the book up, if you will. I want to get really good at working with, these types of people, and really dial in and double down and focus on that part of my business, and, reevaluate from there.
Yeah. So sometimes there's just never enough time.
It's kind of crazy,
Yeah.
it's funny where it goes. I mean, again, but back to my, 40, 50, 60 hour work weeks, it's a still good thing,
Yeah.
but it's, part of the being a business owner thing. It can be scary, it can be overwhelming, it can be stressful, but
Yeah.
still fun. I like it.
Good. Well, you have to enjoy what you're doing, or else it's a chore. So,
Yeah, exactly.
what's
Yeah.
what's the best advice anybody's ever given you in this business?
Uh, I brought my buddy, who's now a rather large client of mine, to lunch years ago before I started my own company. And I said, hey, I'm thinking about starting my own. And here's a bunch of things. Before he could even start telling him what is going on, he said, Greg, just stop, just do it. And I'm like, well, but you don't know the others. Like, let me just tell you, because I don't care. Just do it. I mean, I'll listen if you want me to, Greg, but just do it. And I remember leaving that lunch, a $50 lunch later, and thinking, wow, that was just a complete waste of time. I mean, what was that? Well, I ended up starting my own business, and about a year later, it kind of clicked, like, oh, now I know what he was talking about. That made a lot of sense. And I mean, he knew me and my competitive nature, and that I like what I do and I like working all that stuff. So I think he wouldn't just say that to everybody.
Right.
But if you're thinking about it and you think you can do it, then you just go do it. Don't wait. You're never gonna, this analysis paralysis thing. Don't let that win. If you're thinking about it, just do it. Work your ass off, and everything else will just fall into place. I mean, you can't fail. It's not allowed. That's not an option.
It's not an
Just go
option.
do it. Keep doing what's best for your clients. Sometimes it means taking a haircut here or there in compensation, but if it's what's best for them, it's what you need to do, and it will come back in some form or fashion later.
Absolutely, I agree. So that being said, is there any other advice that you would give to an individual that's either thinking about starting their own business right now, or maybe who's 1 or 2 years in and they're struggling a little bit?
Yeah, awesome question. Use your resources, right? I mean, please call me, call other older advisors, call other business owners, call mentors, call people that you might not even know that well, and just say, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. What would you say? What do you think? And I usually, when you ask for advice, you get business. When you ask for business, you get advice. So number one, that's always an opportunity. But number two, worst case scenario, you leave that coffee meeting or lunch meeting or cocktails or whatever, and you got advice. And sometimes advice, or a lot of times advice, is more powerful than getting business anyway. But I would say, yeah, that's where I would start. I mean, just start asking around, ask questions, and just see what you can find out. And don't stress about everything. Just what you need to do at the end of the day. You need to do what's right for your clients. You need to bring in new business. You need to pick up the phone and just rinse and repeat. Everything else will just fall into place.
Yeah. As long as you keep your head down and keep pushing forward, right?
Next thing you know, your 5 million AUM is now 20 million. And then
right.
your 20 is, I mean, it just happens. I mean, it does.
You just have to do it, right? Just like your friend said, just do it. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, listen, Greg, I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to spend it with me and the audience here at Mastering the Numbers. If anybody wants to get a hold of you to find out more about Fockler Financial and how you help your clients, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, I mean, I ultra encourage it. Please call me. So I've my website. I think, Joe, you said you'll share that, but give me a call. All my numbers are on there. There's a contact us form. If you fill that out and send it, it'll get it to me. I can share my email if you want, greg@fockler.financial. Pretty straightforward there.
Right.
And yeah, just shoot me an email, call me, whatever.
Right. Can you tell the audience your website?
Yeah, just focklerfinancial.com.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, listen, once again, I appreciate your time today. It was great having you on. Great to understand a little bit more about your business, and thanks for sharing some of the challenges and struggles that you went through. Hopefully, our audience or anybody that listens can learn from that. So take care, and to everybody out there, thanks for attending or listening to Mastering the Numbers. Have a great week.
Awesome.
You've just experienced another insightful episode of Mastering the Numbers. We hope you enjoyed the journey and gained valuable insights to fuel your financial success. Don't forget to subscribe to Mastering the Numbers on your favorite podcast platform to never miss an episode. And be sure to leave us a review to let us know how we're doing. Until next time, keep pushing forward and let your entrepreneurial spirit soar. Thank you for listening.